everybody, my name is Vicky, creator of If the Stitch Fits, Wear It. And today's project, we're going to be making Sherpa blankets. And you're going to love this project. So stay tuned. So for this project, you will need a cotton fabric and Sherpa fabric. Now you can choose whatever size that you want. I wanted to show you some of the Sherpa blankets I've made. These are pretty big, but not that big. They're actually lap blankets. So with this one, I have my main fabric and I have my Sherpa fabric. And what I did for the main fabric was I took some fabric scraps, stitched them together to make a quilt top, and then I turned it into a Sherpa blanket. So it's just Sherpa at the back of it, and then the quilted piece together main fabric that I used. And I did that also with this one here, and these are all lap blankets. And then I also pieced this one together with some fabric scraps I had laying around and used my Sherpa fabric for the border and the back, of course. And then this blanket I particularly love because it is my own designer fabric, which I used with a black Sherpa for the border. And I absolutely love this blanket, and it's the biggest one that I made, but it covers everything, and I absolutely love this blanket so much. So if you want to see creative things I did with my designer fabric, I'll set up a link to that in the description below. So you'll have that video too, and you can get that at Spoonflower if you'd like to buy some. And let's get started with our Sherpa blanket today. Okay, so this is the Sherpa blanket that I'm working on for this video. This is going to be a doll size blanket just for the purpose of the video. I'd like to have you be able to see the project and see what it is I'm doing. The Sherpa blankets that I showed you, I actually used about a yard for each blanket, and like I said, you can choose whatever size you want, but the steps that I'm gonna do in this project for this doll blanket are the exact same steps you're gonna do for a gigantic blanket. You're gonna love giving this blanket as a gift. It's so incredibly cute. I love making them, as you can see. I have 3 of them that I made. So, and I gave away so many for Christmas last year. Now this blanket is my little doll blanket. So for these measurements, I did a 9-inch square for my main fabric, and this is also my designer fabric, which you can get at Spoonflower. And I said earlier, I will have a link to the creative things I made with my own designer fabric in the description box below. And then for the Sherpa fabric, I got at Hobby Lobby, and this is like a checkered black and white color. So I liked how it looked with my main fabric. So like I said, for this doll blanket, I took this 9-inch ruler and I cut out my main fabric. And then for my Sherpa fabric, I chose this black and white checkered fabric, and I have enough so that I have a 3-inch border around each side. So when you think about the fabric that you're going to use, however large you make your entire blanket, and you can make it whatever size you want, what you want to do is choose your main fabric and then choose enough of the Sherpa fabric so that you get a 3-inch border on each side of your main fabric. So for this doll blanket, I have my main fabric is 9 inches, and then I chose enough of my Sherpa fabric so that I have 3 inches on each side of my main fabric. So that's the most important part, is that you have to have enough of the fabric that you want your final blanket to be. Okay, so let's start the project. When you have your fabric all together, the first step that you want to do is take your main fabric and your Sherpa fabric and lay them wrong sides together. So this is the right side of my Sherpa, and this is the right side of my main fabric, and they are wrong sides together. So I already have my border cut, and I have my main fabric cut. Now what you want to do, now that your pieces are laying wrong sides together, take a ruler and place it at the corner of your main fabric so that there's a 45-degree angle at the corner of your main fabric, and push that ruler 1/2 inch up. And now the extra fabric that you have beyond that 1/2 inch, you're gonna have to cut right there. And you're gonna do that on each side of your corners. Take your ruler, place it so that it's a 45-degree angle at the corner of your main fabric, and push it 1/2 inch up, and cut that extra fabric beyond that 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll show you how it looks in a minute. So I marked my 1/2 inch with this black washable marker, and I marked each side of my corners. Now I'm going to cut each side beyond that 1/2 inch mark. Now I have the corners of my Sherpa cut, and this is how it should look. You have this kind of like stop sign shape in your Sherpa fabric. And so now that you have your corners all cut and your fabric is still wrong sides together, now you want to start your stitching. So the first thing that you're going to do to give your blanket that staying power is that you want to stitch vertically and horizontally down your main fabric, just to keep the pieces together, and your blanket will have some longevity in life. So that's the first thing you want to do, is stitch down vertically and just horizontally. And you don't even need a lot of stitches. You can just do 3 vertical and 3 horizontal, and depending on the size of your blanket, you may not even do 3, or you may do more than 3. But I'm gonna stitch these down, and I'll be right back to show you how to finish it. So now I have my 2 pieces stitched together, just stitched down. So now to finish off your blanket, this is what you want to do. Now you're gonna turn your fabric, your project over to the right sides, and the corners that you cut, now you're going to take it and line up the edges of each corner, or you might want to do that one at a time. And you're going to have these edges right sides together. That's the right side of my fabric, and I'm lining up my corners. And now I'm going to stitch just on the Sherpa, on the edge of that corner, about maybe 1/2 inch, depending on the size of your blanket, but you might want to stick with 1/2 inch because it'll give you a really good border when you're all done. So you're going to do that to each corner, and then right sides together, stitch with about a 1/2 inch seam allowance for each corner. And I'll do that, and I'll show you how. All right, now I have each corner of the Sherpa stitched down, and this is what my project looks like so far. So this is with the right side, and this is the main piece of fabric. Now that I have my corners stitched down, I can lay it back down, and I'm gonna turn those corners back to the right side. And you're gonna see that really cute border that you get on your Sherpa blanket. So just turn those corners out and poke out the corners on each side. And you have this cute little burrito look, right? But don't worry, because what you're gonna do now is take the take the edges right here and fold them in about 1/2 inch on each side so that you get a really cute little border around your main fabric. So fold that in about 1/2 inch on each side and pin it down, and then you're gonna stitch on the very edge of that Sherpa to keep the raw edges stitched inside the blanket. So I'll do that and finish up my blanket and show you how. So the edges are completely stitched down, and now you're all done. You have this cute little blanket and this doll blanket right here. Ever so adorable. How cute is that? Makes for great gifts. So I did want to make one suggestion though, is that the Sherpa and the cotton, they're so easy to work with because the Sherpa kind of creates a little magnetic stay with the cotton fabric. I've tried this project with other fabrics and it wasn't quite so easy. I didn't have the best time doing it. So the fabric that I used was very slippery, very slidey, and so it's not the best, but it works. But this Sherpa and the cotton, they work so well together because your fabric won't be moving around the machine. And one last suggestion I wanted to make is that when you're working on the edges of this project, you want to make sure that all of the edges are tucked in, because it's easy for you to not notice that they're just kind of flaring out. So just go slowly around your border and tuck your edges in and move your needle position. So the side that I was working on, the side of the fabric, I'm working on the left side and I'm stitching on the edge of the left side. So I moved my needle position over to the left, which helps to just keep it right on the edge, and it won't be shifting your fabric so much as if you keep the needle in the middle. So yeah, it's just a suggestion to move your needle position over to the side that you're going to be stitching on. So like I was working on my left side of the edge, so I moved that needle over to the left side. So enjoy your blanket, and I hope it keeps you snugly warm this winter. All right, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want future notifications to each class. Bye, have a good day.